All right, so you should have finished this page by now, my mini guide page to ask, listen, and tease. And I will explain to you how we will tweak it and make it work at best to improve our relationships with our friends. And we will take two different paths, two different routes, and you get to choose. And hopefully you will choose both. But we'll see how you want to play. And the core idea is actually a question. How well do you know your friends? And so this it will be even more interesting with friends you've known for a while, for years, that you believe you know pretty well. And I invite you to take one of those two paths, at least as a starter, and we'll see how it goes. So either go deep or go deeper or go off tracks. And what I mean by that is I invite you to explore what you already know about your friends, something that you already share with them, you already had some specific knowledge about them on one specific topic, and go deeper and ask them follow-up questions and really go beyond and further so you know your friend much, much better. And right now, I won't give you too much examples. I will keep that for our live call. But I really would like to consider really how could you know your friend better? Let's take an example. You've known that friend of a salsa dance. You've known that person for a while, and you've enjoyed many dances, salsa dances over time. Now, how could you go even deeper and ask specific questions, meaningful questions, so you could know better your friend of a salsa? For example, have they ever considered going to Cuba or Puerto Rico or Colombia? Because the Colombian scene of salsa is quite interesting. So there are many different countries that are involved in the salsa field, the salsa culture. That might be a good topic to explore and to deepen your relationship with your friend. How you could ask them, have you ever tried another dance? Maybe you already know that. Maybe you have no clue. Maybe you have no idea they've been appealed to tango or swing or many different dances, maybe ballets. Who knows? And maybe you had no idea and you just never asked that question. And don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming you for that. Most people don't think about it. No, today I'm inviting you to consider this and go deeper and beyond and really refine your relationship with your friend. So very first, asking meaningful questions, powerful questions, and of course, listening deeply, which will be the other part, receiving their answer and really being fully present and hopefully follow up. And actually, if you want to go really, there is a concept called seven layers deep questions. And the idea is to have 6 follow-up questions. Whenever you ask a question and you receive an answer, ask why, ask how, go even deeper and really try to go to the root of that question and understand the context, understand all the cultural experience that your interlocutor has around that topic. And go 6 layers deeper. So seven layers in total, going deeper and deeper and deeper. So that one is, yeah, it's not for everyone, but believe me, if you're playing that game of sorts, if you're taking that path, wow, you will profoundly develop your relationship with your friends. Now, I would like you to consider going off tracks. And that idea is, okay, let's assume you've met that person over salsa dance once again. Go in a totally different direction, something you've never considered. So you could come up with one topic that you never explored with your friend. Like, let's say you're into role-playing games yourself and you've never had that conversation with that person. Why not starting this conversation with them, asking them, have you ever played role-playing games? Anyone ever mentioned that to you, etc.? Or it could be like maybe around very specific, like niche type of movies, maybe like a very special type of sci-fi movies from the 70s, for example, and sharing that with them. And maybe because it's something that you deeply enjoy and you've never explored that with them, or actually something that you'd like to explore and you are looking for a buddy to explore it with. So you might be surprised. No, even more interesting and even more, a better way for them to feel valued will be to ask them about their passions, their preferred topics, what really spark their curiosity, what really animate them. And maybe you've never explored that. Maybe then they never thought about it. Or maybe it's kind of covered with maybe not guilt, but shame. Like some people have interests, hobbies, and passions that they have some mixed feelings around. Like I mentioned role-playing games. Back when I was a teen, role-playing games were heavily branded in France. There was that lady that kind of had, she led a witch hunt of role-playing games. And back then, when I was a teen, we had a lot of shame. We were kind of in hiding because role-playing games were supposed to lead to many bad outcomes, according to that lady. And we felt kind of icky. We felt ashamed of practicing this activity because of that lady that led this witch hunt. And so for a very long time, I had a hard time sharing this activity if I didn't know that that person was already involved in that circle. So when I started dance, I had kind of two lives actually. I was a dancer by day and a role-playing gamer by night, or the way around sometimes. So it's just an example. Maybe your interlocutor, maybe your friend, actually they have very deep passions, things that they are extremely passionate about, and they weren't sure they could share that with you, not because of you, but because of maybe some trauma or maybe some bad experiences, and maybe they were unsure if they could share that with you. So opening that door and creating a safe place, safe environment for them to share will be extremely powerful. It will make them feel heard, valued, and it will reinforce very powerfully your relationship. So that would be the first step. Now, I would like to consider building bridges. Now, with what you discover from your friend, with that new knowledge of of what really animate them and what they are sharing with you, how could you connect that with yourself, your own relationship with yourself, and your own well-being? How could it impact positively your own relationship with yourself? And how could you bring that in your life? So maybe there is something that they deeply love and would love to share with you, and that actually could bring a lot of goodness in your life. And after that, how could you expand what your friend shared with you, first with other friends. How could you kind of create a container of good friends, powerful friends, and recreate maybe a group, a kind of club around that passion? That might be interesting. And also, how could you bring connections of yours in the mix? And maybe they could bring their connections or their friends, because maybe that activity that they never mentioned to you before, they are actually practicing it with other people. So you might be interested in meeting those people actually over this new activity. So this is an idea to consider. So I'm still using that idea of an activity we explored yesterday. No, you don't have to. There are many other topics you might want to explore. It might be about their work, about their mission, right? Remember, we're in a challenge for misfit solopreneurs. So I assume many of your peers, many of your friends are actually solopreneurs considering starting a venture as an entrepreneur. So it could be over that. How well do you know what they are doing? How well do you know their mission as an entrepreneur? How well do you know their team? Maybe they have an entire team. Maybe they are not solopreneurs. So I'm very curious to know what it will bring with you. And actually, there are other aspects as well that you could consider for the new path. How well do you know their loved ones? How well do you know the number of the kids they have, the names of the kids, age, the passions of their kids? And now, if you're a parent, you know how kids are important to parents, obviously. So imagine how they will feel valued if you really take a genuine interest of their loved ones, their family, their parents. Like it's very um, uh, not classical, not the word traditional, especially for example in Northern Africa, in what we call the Maghreb, the three countries of the Maghreb that have a special relationship with France. We have Algeria, Tunisia, and Morocco. And it's customary to ask to other people, even connections, not necessarily friends, but how their family are doing, their mother, their father, their spouse, etc. So it's part of their culture, and I feel it's beautiful. It's beautiful way to connect and show that you care. So you might want to inspire yourself with that. Maybe you're already doing that. Maybe you're already asking your friends on a regular basis, how is your mother doing? So how is your daughter doing? How well is she doing in school, at school these days, etc. So I'm just allowing you to consider several paths that you might already be taking on a regular basis and maybe not. So I invite you to find new paths to explore with your friends. And once you've started to explore this new path, how can you build bridges and connect this new path to yourself, in your relationship with yourself, and with your connections, and your relationship with your connections, and actually with the connections of your friends, and the friends of your friends, etc. You see how it works. So now, next video will be about taking action around that. See you there.